crossing on the wires right now, Sean Diddy Combs is found not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy charge in this federal case. The verdict on the 4 remaining counts are not read yet. Here's another alert. Combs found not guilty in the sex trafficking of his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
This Diddy trial is living proof that you can do anything and get away with anything if you got money. And that right there tells you a lot about our justice system.
Here's another one. Combs found, okay, so this is count 2 now. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs found not guilty of sex trafficking. And that applies to the girlfriend who went by the pseudonym as the name Jane. Mm-hmm. And CB, I'll bring you in. I want to read one more alert here because some of this seems to be a bit of a duplicate as it's coming in. Mm-hmm. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution with the former girlfriend who I just mentioned as Jane. So those are 5 quick alerts that just came up on the Reuters wire, and we're awaiting more from inside the courtroom as we speak. Does that line up, CB, with what you have down there at court?
Bill, so what I'm looking at, count 1 through 5, the only count that I see that Diddy has been found guilty of is count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution, as it pertains to Diddy's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Cassie Ventura. The other 4 counts I am seeing. Excuse me, let me backpedal a little bit, you guys. This is all breaking in. We're dealing with rolling thunder out here. So I'm seeing Diddy has been found guilty on 2 counts. The transportation to engage in prostitution counts, count 3 and count 5, as they pertain to Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, and another former girlfriend who testified under the pseudonym Jane. What I am seeing right now are guilty verdicts on count 3 and count 5. And I can tell you that prosecutors, when they argued that Diddy transported these women in male escorts across state lines to engage in prostitution, they pulled up a slew of flight and bank records, going line by line, in some cases to jurors, pointing out hotel stays, lengths of hotel stays. They also called in law enforcement investigators as summary witnesses to explain these lengthy, extensive records that they had pulled in this case. I think it's very interesting that these are the charges that these are the only charges that jurors found Sean Diddy Combs guilty of: transportation to engage in prostitution.
The Diddy verdict doesn't even make sense to me. I know I'm not the only one thinking this. Like, how are you not guilty of sex trafficking, but guilty of prostitution transportation? What the heck? 2 + 2 is not potatoes. I guarantee you, Diddy's first day out freak off is about to create a new STD. And the worst types of people are gonna celebrate the Diddy verdict like it's some kind of win.
Meanwhile,
let's go! Let the job force roll!
Get the rocks.
Yeah.
Abdul?
Yeah, get the rocks.
Get the rocks.
I think it's probably one of the...
Also, to argue these charges, prosecutors called male escorts to the witness stand who testified about how Diddy paid them, in some cases, hundreds to thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie and him. And at this point, right now, we can see from this verdict sheet that Diddy has been found guilty on count 3 and count 5. He has been found not guilty on the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. He's been found not guilty on count 2 and count 4. Those are the sex trafficking counts. The only counts he has been found guilty of are the transportation to engage in prostitution. And I want to say that comes with a possible prison sentence of 10 years in prison. Of course, we're dealing with breaking news, so a lot of information is coming in, and we're working to learn more. But there is a crowd gathered here outside the courtroom. I'm not sure who is among this crowd, but Bill and Dana, I know you've been watching the trial closely, and you know there are a slew of Diddy supporters out here who have come every single day. It looks like what appears to be one of Diddy's supporters is out here in front of the courthouse explaining to cameras perhaps why he believes his someone he supports was vindicated of the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. There are hundreds of cameras, and we're waiting to get some more color from inside the courtroom.
You got it.
But we know that jurors came back with this ultimatum today.
CB, I'll let you go for the moment so you can gather some more news down there. I just want to repeat the main.
Now, guys, here's my theory. Now, if you really want to dive deep into the rabbit hole, conspiracy theory, I think that P. Diddy was arrested to destroy evidence against other powerful people. He didn't rat, and he was rewarded with a slap on the wrist. And there's proof of these sex parties and orgies everywhere. Just have a look.
Open a door, and in that room, there are a bunch of men. And they're all kind of like very like Romanesque, like laying about and, kind of like very like kind of leaning on each other, not really spooning, but like conversationally spooning. Like if you were spooning, but facing each other and like leaning up on your elbow and talking.
Like, how about this? Like in public, watching TV with a bunch of your friends and you're with your girlfriends.
Right, yes.
It would be like those guys kind of lounging on their girlfriends, but they're not fucking, because that would be weird
they
in
weren't
public.
fucking,
right.
But like you almost think that they should be feeding each other grapes. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, it was very like
regal lounging.
very erotic.
Okay, all right.
Heavy erotica.
Yeah, like the drawings you would see of like old Greek
Yes, right,
hangouts.
exactly.
Yeah, I
or
understand.
like a fact woman like laid on her side.
Yeah, it would almost be the prelude to an orgy.
Yes.
Now, if any woman messes with Diddy after this trial, she is not a victim but a willing participant. We all know what he's into and what he's all about. The diddler.
The Diddy trial jurors have rendered their final verdict, and it's something that's about to blow a lot of people's minds. Diddy was found not guilty on RICO, not guilty on the trafficking of Cassie Ventura, guilty on the transportation to engage in prosta of Cassie Ventura and others, not guilty on the trafficking of Jane, and guilty on the transportation to engage in prosta of Jane and others. This is a huge verdict. Diddy has been found not guilty on all of his major charges. The sentencing timelines for the two charges that he was found guilty of, the transportation to engage in prosta, have a maximum of 10 years. So Diddy could be looking at hardly any jail time at all and will have to wait for the judge to sentence him. We don't know exactly when the sentencing will take place. It could take a couple days or it could be done today. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
A normal human being, if he wasn't Diddy, the diddler, I guarantee you that normal human being would have been charged with all 5 accounts. Diddy walking as a free man basically tells you that none of these high-profile pedophiles will ever face any justice. What a freaking surprise. And I'm sure 99% of those judges will never have to work again. Like ever.
The Parties of the Mega Rich. On February 9th, 2022, a documentary was posted to Vice describing the secret sex parties of the mega rich. These parties were filled with some of the most vilest things. The manager recalls that on one weekend, a large group of 60-ish people would rent out an entire hotel. They would purchase the entire hotel just to turn it into one giant orgy. They'd spend $250,000 just for 2 nights at a time. And these billionaires, they would leave one heck of a nightmare in these hotel rooms. Is it blood on the floor, feces on the walls, or even semen stains on the ceiling? Inside these rooms that were left by these billionaires, a black light showing germs not visible to the eye, to the naked eye, would be turned on, and what they saw that was left of this party was disgusting.
We looked down and saw the stains, we looked to the sides and saw them on the wall. At one point in the bathroom, we looked up and saw them all on the ceiling, and we were just like, how do you do this? This is not human. Were you on the ceiling?
When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down, and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive. He said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is gonna do anything with y'all, no business at all. It ain't gonna be no artist, no nothing gonna come. He's telling people that at a radio station. When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
It's crazy that Wendy has been trying to tell us since the 90s, and the truth will always come out no matter what. And the truth is right in front of our faces.
You wasn't my man's mom, I'd tear that ass up.
Thank you.
Ha! Gay!
Have to admit, Diddy committed 100% to this sketch.
What the fuck? Shit. God.
Being a freak is not illegal. So we can make all the memes and the jokes about the lube and the baby oil and all that stuff. But being weird is not a crime.
Without giving too much of an opinion, I feel like just how people saw him before was slightly changed compared to now.
The things that they did get him for, kind of saw that coming. But the other things seemed like they were just trying to tack on more things. And as soon as they dropped some of the charges, I knew that was it. It was done.
I couldn't see it being guilty all the way down. My experience with everyone coming down here was amazing. I got to meet so many people. I hear so many different people's views on how they felt that this was gonna go.
Most important part of the trial was today, when after it was all said and done, and they found him not guilty on street charges, he turned to the audience, he did the love symbol, blew kisses to his family, and I promise you, like 90% of everyone in the crowd was cheering. It's like something out of a movie.
You can't just trust the first guy. He's wearing USPA.
Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty. So essentially, the jurors found that he was guilty of the Mann Act. That is the transportation to engage in prostitution, but they found him not guilty on sex trafficking, very serious charge there where he could have spent a minimum of 15 years in prison, and not guilty on that racketeering conspiracy, which he could have spent up to life in prison.
If this verdict doesn't tell you that our justice system sucks and is rigged, bro, you're living under a rock. Like, how the heck does sex trafficking, racketeering, drug dealing, murderous psychopath like Diddy get acquitted? This just goes to show you that he has powerful friends in high places, and apparently Diddy, Epstein, Maxwell were sex trafficking to the same people. No one, the prosecution, was the cover-up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below what you guys think of this whole process.